Hi there, and welcome to Bipolar Snowbird. Today, I'm going to be talking about how I got my bipolar spouse, who was going through a manic phase, to be hospitalized, and also a few tips on what happened during that time. But before we begin, just want to welcome all the new viewers and also thank you to the returning viewers. You're really helping build my channel, and I appreciate all the likes. And if you could subscribe and leave a comment if you have any thoughts or suggestions, that'd be great. I do read all the comments, and they do give me some ideas for future content. So, I believe it was the first manic episode that my husband had. So, at this point, he was not diagnosed. And clearly, from my reading and research online, I kind of got the hint that he was bipolar. But at this time, he was really aggressive and had telephonitis. And he would take off on a whim in the car, drive till the car ran out of gas, and then, of course, call me. And not going to work. There was a whole bunch of things going on. But, anyways, I knew that something was amiss. So, where I live, there is a program for mental health. And basically, instead of calling 911, you call this other line and they send out a nurse and a police officer to do an assessment. So I talked to my husband about it, and of course, he was against it, but mainly because he didn't think he was manic at all. So the way I sold it was I said, let me make the call, let them come out, and then if they say you're fine, then I'm going to know that I'm just overreacting. And I left it at that. So he was so totally convinced that he was not manic and that the nurse practitioner and that the police officer would both agree he was fine, and that would be that. So, in reality, what happened was once they came over, they clearly knew that he was manic, and they took him to the hospital and put him on a 72-hour hold. Now, up to this point, I have to point out that my husband was totally okay with the process, and he was totally okay with me. He didn't blame me at all. But once he got hit with that 72-hour hold and was not able to leave the hospital, that's when he turned on me. And at this point, he would not allow the doctors or anyone else to talk to me at all. And that's his right. And so, what I had done at that point is I did find out who his nurse and his doctors were, and I did call them. Now, I know for legal reasons they were not allowed to say anything to me, but that didn't stop me from telling them any information that I thought would be relevant to what was going on in his life at this time. So they thanked me, and after his 72-hour hold, he was transferred to a psychiatric hospital. And I believe this time in the hospital he was there about 2 weeks, and it came a point where he didn't want to see me, he didn't want anything to do with me. But when the interesting thing is that when it was time for him to be released, he was supposed to be released in my care. So at that point, the doctors did call me. And basically, what I said was, I wasn't a part of his treatment. I have no idea what's going on. I do not agree with him being released in my care. And I said, the only way that I will feel good about this is if you somehow convince him to allow me to come to some doctor's appointments in the hospital. And so I did get a call later on that day that he did concede, And I came in and I was very happy with the diagnosis. I believe they did diagnose him bipolar at that time and put him on a series of medications and explained to him about being compliant and set up outside psychiatrist appointments and therapists and things like that. So at that point, I was very happy with how it was going, and he was released into my care. So basically, I just wanted to share this information with you, twofold, just to share my experience and maybe it will help you out in some way. Again, I'm not a therapist or a doctor, and I'm just sharing what I've gone through in my life. And if it helps someone, then that's great. But in terms of not being a part of the treatment process, remember that doctors don't have to talk to you. It is your spouse's right to deny you accessing any information, but that should not stop you from sharing any insight with them. And as well, like I said, if they are going to release your spouse into your care, you have a right to find out what does that mean, what's going on, and approach it from that way. So that's all for today. I hope that's been helpful. And again, please comment. Let me know if there's anything else you'd like to hear me talk about. And till next time, have a great day.